first met him, he was a high school student and working with Leadership Amarillo Canyon. And right away, he stood out as a unique individual. Fun, energetic, really could get all the other students discussing and the other students to have a good time. And then probably 5 years later, I ran into him as a college student and was really excited to have him join my leadership group that worked with that same high school group through Amarillo, Leadership Amarillo and Canyon. And so again, those similar things, his enthusiasm, his positive personality. He's really the person that people like to hang out with, that you know, he makes things fun. Even if it's work, he really adds that positive spin to things, so that it's not just work, but we're in this together. It's a good teamwork activity. And so I've known him on a couple levels. Through the Leadership Amarillo Canyon class, he got to serve as a peer leader, so he worked with a group of high school students and was able to effectively manage that group dynamic with his small group, as well as doing leadership in front of larger groups, and so 60 to 70 high school students. And if you've ever worked with 60 to 70 high school students, you know that getting their attention and keeping it is quite a task. And Frankie was really, that was really his element. He was strong and able to get them engaged in whatever activity he was doing. Additionally, I've seen him through the broadcasting department at WT, and you know, I've seen him as a photographer. I've seen him work with the digital media, and in whatever he is doing, he brings that same level of professionalism, engagement, and really enthusiasm for all that he has to do. And so I would say that those skills really make Frankie stand out. He's not one that blends into the crowd. He really stands above, and anytime I run into him in the hallway and say, "Hey Frankie, you know, can you help me out here?" he's always one that's willing to jump in and help out if he can. And so those really make him a unique and special individual.
I think that he's one of WT's greatest leaders. He leads by example and doesn't necessarily throw his name out there like other people do. He's behind the scenes a lot. He was definitely one of the leaders on working for the Greek magazine, which took a lot of time and effort on his part. I can't tell you how many hours he spent in the Corps office working on that. And he's just always there whenever you need him. If you have a question, he'll be there to answer you. If you need help with any event, he's always there, open and willing to help. Frankie, like I said, is always willing to help across campus. I can't tell you how many times he's come into the student government office and worked with me on advertising or gave me ideas for something that I was working on. He's just kind of one of those people that you can always rely on. In leadership terms, he's what I would call a linchpin. He's not necessarily the face of an organization or the face of WT, but he's definitely what keeps WT together.
Actually, the amount of time that I've been here, Frankie's only been in one of my classes, and that was a feature writing class in the spring of 2011. And that was actually a really fun class. I enjoyed having Frankie in there because I had already known him from the work that he's done at the Prairie. And so most of what I can talk about today will be what he did at the Prairie. He was our videographer, or actually our photographer, and he was the one who was really the primary photo taker. Especially when I first got here, I depended on him a lot to be able to kind of have the photos in the paper. He knew what he was doing, obviously, because Frankie's a fantastic photographer. And so we needed that kind of work when I first showed up to be in the Prairie. So it was vitally important that he was part of that early group of folks who I was able to work with, because we were trying to change.
The way I know Frankie Sanchez is through Suffolk Entertainment. I was brought onto this project to DJ, and I moved up to Director of Entertainment. The purpose of this project was, or is, to bring electronic dance music to the Texas Panhandle. It was created between Frankie Sanchez and Alex Montoya. Through his professionalism as being an event planner, we've been able to host a monthly dance event, or rave, throughout the local venues. And we've been able to have attendees from anywhere from 300 to 500 people. This last month we had Emerald's first paint party, and I think we are paving the way for future electronic dance music events throughout the city and even further out through the state.